sweet friends, and welcome back to Crochet with Coffee. And today is our Monday episode. So I'm going to chat with you about some of the crochet projects that I have going this week. I have my pumpkin spice coffee in my cute little pumpkin mug. This one was a Hobby Lobby find. This was in their pumpkin area. So this is in the fall decorations area, not the other like decorations and stuff. This was the fall section. So if you want one, Hobby Lobby. And I also have some pumpkin spice flavor that I added to it with my half and half. Typically at home, I don't really do sweet coffee. I normally just do half and half. And I saw the pumpkin spice flavor at the store and I got that to have a little treat. So I needed it today because I really wanted something cozy. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I just have off weeks. And this was one of them where I just felt blah. I don't know why. Sometimes I can't explain it. There's no real reason why. If you have those weeks too, or days or whatever, I hope that your day is going better or your week is going better. If you experience the same, or if you're experiencing that during this time too, or in the future, I hope that you are able to work through it quickly. But yeah, that was just my week. No reason why, but I was really excited to have a nice cozy cup of coffee with my pumpkin spice and my pumpkin mug and everything. And then I had some projects that I worked on this week. I didn't have a lot just because I was feeling kind of blah. And typically crafting is one of those things that really makes me feel more energized and I feel ready for, ready for life and stuff like that. And I felt like I just couldn't get enough of it. And I had a lot of crafting time, but then I found myself scrolling on my phone a lot. So once I had my phone put away and was actually just like crafting, I think I felt better. But yeah, so just one of those weeks. But anyway, I will show you a few of the things I have been working on this week, and let's get into that. All right, so the first one that I want to talk about is my own design, and I showed a little bit about this last week. And I just wanted to show you the progress that I have. So this is the one that I'm going to call the Hawk Moth blanket. And it is squares, small and large, and rectangles. So last week I only had the squares to show you, but I have the rectangles today, and I also started putting it together so you can see more of what it's going to look like. So I did. Ooh, I like it. It's really pretty on camera. As I get so zoned in, you only see like little bits and pieces, and then I haven't held it up to actually look at it yet, so I'm really happy with it. Oh, it's so pretty. So this one has 10 different colors in it, and I put my colors in the order, like I laid out the skeins for the color order that I wanted them, because there are some like this tan and this yellow. I didn't want that right next to each other. There's some colors that were too close that I just didn't want them immediately next to each other. So last week I told you guys I was doing my small squares as 4 rows of color, and the large squares were going to be 10 rows of color, and then the rectangles were going to be 4 rows of color. So math didn't work in my head when I was planning that out, so I had to add an extra row to each of those to get them to line up properly and fit together. That's why I don't tell you guys all the details before my pattern is out, because I will mess it up and I'll have to go back and correct it. But anyway, this is going together really nicely. So I did all the colors separately, and then I'm doing a join as you go with the black, and I'm doing each individual. I know there's some patterns that join as you go for the entire thing. It's just one strand of yarn just going all the way through. I don't do that. Not that I don't want to or can't, but I chose to do it this way just because I wanted more, I don't know, I wanted it more individual. But if you know how to do all of that and you can do it all the way through, that's great. I think my brain would explode trying to figure that out in a pattern, because I've done it for some patterns that I've read and it was fine while I was doing it, and then sometimes I got to a point where I had to stop because I wasn't understanding the right direction and everything. So the idea of writing that was absolutely terrifying. So anyway, this blanket is, yes, I did 10 colors. So I ended up doing the larger squares with 11 colors. So the center is the same as the very outside. And the rectangles are 5 rows as well. And so are the small squares. Those are 5 rows. So that is the hawk moth blanket. I'm so excited to see this one continue to grow. But I am at the point where I need to start doing some filming for the tutorial. So it is taking me a little bit longer at this point until I get that filming done. And that's why it's in here, because I do my tutorial filming over here at this table. And yeah, so that is what I have going on right now. And then this is just like a rough draft of what I'm doing. So in the actual pattern, I'll show you the exact order of how to put the squares together. I have the layout of the squares here. I've got my colors here and my order of squares and stuff there. So I just kept each color in order. So I went through 1 through 10 every single time in every square and every rectangle, and I just did it in that order. So it all stayed in the same color order for each tile. And you know, if you wanted to end up mixing it up, you could do it however you wanted to do your colors. If you want each square to be different, if you want to use less colors, it's totally up to you. It's customizable. This is just a fun project that I saw that I wanted to make something out of those colors. I showed in my last Monday episode what I got the color inspiration from. It's just a little, like a travel bag that has those little moths on it. So that's why I wanted to name it the hawk moth blanket. So that is that one. Oh, and the hawk moth blanket tutorial will come out in October at some point. It just depends on how long it takes me to film it. And I'm also going to put a border around the outside, so I need to figure out what I want that to look like. And if you've been following me at all, you know I don't like borders, so that's going to take a little time and energy, because I just don't like it. I don't know why. I think it just takes forever. It's like, I don't know, I feel like the blanket is done. It's kind of like on the same level as weaving in ends, although I've learned to not hate weaving in ends. So maybe at some point I'll learn to not hate making borders. That one I don't know. But anyway, borders are just my enemy. I can't seem to enjoy them, but I know it needs it. I know it would look great with it. I'm always happy I end up putting borders on, and I'm not as content with blankets that I haven't put a good border on. So I always love the result. I just don't like the process. I think it just takes forever in my head. It takes forever. All right, so the next pattern that I want to share with you is made by the Soulful Now. She does have an Instagram, a TikTok, and a YouTube channel. The pattern, you can purchase this pattern on Etsy. Yes, you can purchase this pattern on Etsy if you like the written pattern. It's $7 as of right now. And that is really nice. It does give some extra information on there as far as sizing, length, different things like that. That is helpful. That's not included in the video, but the video is also very helpful for a basic tutorial of the sweater. And I can't remember all the details that she goes through with the tutorial, but it's amazing. It's really fun. So I really enjoyed having both the pattern and the tutorial, but you could make this with one or the other. It just depends on what you like. Sometimes I like to read a pattern and compare it with the video, because sometimes a written pattern has some details and written instructions that as soon as I see it on the video, I was like, oh, duh, like that made perfect sense. I don't know why I didn't understand it in the written pattern when I understood it exactly the same way that it's written through audibly hearing it. So I don't know if that's just you or just you. I don't know if it's just you. I don't know if that's just me or if you guys feel that way as well. But sometimes I like having both. So I did purchase the pattern and I have watched the YouTube video, and I find both of them very helpful, and I do believe you can make this sweater with one or the other, and both, obviously. All right, so my video that came out on Friday, I did a Frogger finish, and I had a lot of yarn, cakes, and different things left over that I didn't know where to put. I didn't know what to do with. And I was thinking this sweater was a perfect way of using up some of that yarn. And also some thrifted yarn that I found. So isn't that color so pretty? Oh, all right. So this was part of the thrifted yarn that I did. There was a sweater that I talk about in that last episode that I had to frog, and I wanted to reuse the yarn. This is the color Sunflower in for the Karen 1 pound skein. So that's what that color is. And I'm trying to think if I have all the labels in here. All right, so then I also have this yarn. I had some random skeins from when I purchased yarn at the closeout at Joann's. I got a whole bunch of yarn, and I thought that this one was another color. Like I grabbed a whole bunch of all the same color, and this skein was just randomly in there, and I don't have any more of these. It's just the one. But it matches pretty close to some other colors that I had, and it's just a different brand, but it was a very close color. So this one was the Basic Stitch Anti-Pilling yarn, and the color was a Russet Heather. So that's a pretty fall color. You know, I like fall. And then this blue was it was a yarn that I had that did not have a label, but I think judging by the weight of the yarn and the way it was spun, it was one of these Color Theory yarns in a dark blue. So it was this, I believe it was this brand, but it was like a navy blue color. I don't have the skein with me, but just the but that blue color. And I thought that these kind of went with some of the, like the peachy color in here, like this one. See that color right there? was kind of close to that one. So that's why I included that one. And also this blue was kind of close to that blue that was in there. You can see it. So that's why I picked those two colors. And then this yellow is just because I wanted it to be I wanted it to have some brightness to it. All right, so the way that the sweater is made up is very neat. So in the picture, and also if you check out her Instagram, she has a video of it, and I think maybe the YouTube video probably shows it more too, but it is worked in a way that this whole panel is the body and the sleeves with super blousey sleeves, like comfy blousey. It looks like you're wearing a blanket, and anytime I can get super comfy and it is clothes, I love it because I would live in a blanket if I could. And this one just makes me feel like that cozy living in a blanket, but also stylish and cute, and I just had to have it. So I started making it. This one has been a really quick workup because it's double crochets. Very, very easy. In the written pattern, she does have a graph of if you like to look at the graph, like the symbols and the charts, like going off of the crochet charts, she has that included in her written pattern. So if you like that, that is included in there as far as the type of stitches that she does. This one is according to your own body measurements. She shares how you measure. You're measuring wrist to wrist, length of body, bust size, different measurements she lists in there, and she shares with you how you assemble it and everything. But it is supposed to go wrist to wrist. I'm so excited. It is like, it's going to be like wearing a giant blanket, and I can't wait. All right. Oh, so this color I didn't talk about, this bright color. Originally, this yarn was in the baskets for my thrift and lift, like mystery pick yarn blanket thing that I'm doing on Wednesdays. If you haven't seen that, you can go check out the Wednesday videos that I'm doing with a mystery pick for a blanket. But this was originally in there, and I just had to take it out because I wanted to use it for something else because I just think it's so pretty. Oh, I love it. So it's got these funky colors, like that funky yellow greenish color. It's like a rusty old green. I mean, I like these. I like that. That's one of my favorites. So, and then with all these pops of bright color, like I love this pink color and this purple color, and then this like rusty yellow color. Those are like together. I love it. I'm not a fan of peach and teal and different things like that, but they all just blend together. They look so neat. So I really love that. It was, unfortunately, it's a discontinued red heart yarn. It's called Cactus Flower. So this is the label. Hello Gorgeous red heart yarn in the color Cactus Flower. So if you can find this at like on an Etsy shop or a secondhand shop online for yarn, you can see if you can find this one. I did see some sites that had it, but I don't know what's currently carrying it. But I did check on Yarnspirations. It is discontinued, but it is a beautiful color. And like the color swatch that they give you here is not accurate at all. These are like lime greens, and it's like a teal instead. So it's really this is not accurate at all. So anyway, yep, Cactus Flower. But you never know. Sometimes they might bring back different colors. I just hope for that sometimes, that they'll bring back good colors. But anyway, so that was my color order there. And then I'm also going to add another yarn that I did from the Frogger Finish video, and that is the pumpkin spice from, it was a Pound of Love pumpkin spice color. And I don't have the whole skein because I had a tangle and I had a fit and I had to throw it away. I was not going to unravel this really awful mess. It was a mess. I'm sad, but I'm okay. I'm okay now. So this is going to go on the top. And hopefully I can get this done so you guys can see it next week because I'm really excited about this. So this is going to go on the top, that's the top shoulders. And then I'm going to do the back in a similar way, but during this section of the back portion, I'm only going to be alternating these two colors back and forth across this section. And so the back looks a little bit different than the front because I want it to be very clear what the front is and what the back is. Because when I make things like this where there's not like a swoop neck, I never know if it's the front or the back. So anyway, that's that one. This was the whole skein. It was just a 5-ounce skein of that cactus flower that I did with that. And then the back is also going to have that top with the orange color. So that's that one. Super excited to wear that. So here in Florida, we're still in like the temperatures are still like in the 80s, and that's sad. And I can't wait for it to get a little bit cooler for like the 3 days of cold weather that we have every year. But I have a long list of sweaters that I've talked to you guys about that I'm excited to wear during those cold 3 days that we get. But anyway, all right, so my next project that I wanted to share with you is crochet, but it's made with the crochet thread. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those really pretty curtains or valances that are crocheted and it looks like lacy. So that is what I'm making with this for one of our windows that I have. Right now I have, like, for privacy, I have up that film that you put up that's like the cling film, so it's like clear with a design on it, so it still lets light in, but you can't see in and can't see out. And I would like to be able to open that part of the window if I want, instead of it being like always having that film up there. I want to be able to see out, so I'm going to make some curtains to replace that. And this is so pretty. All right, so this is called the Nordic Star Window Valance, and it's by Durable Yarn. I guess that's a yarn company. So it's made with, let's see, yeah, Durable Color Cake is what they used for this pattern. So this is a free pattern on Ravelry. I have all these things linked in the description if it's something that you're interested in. Then in the pattern, they also have a chart for you that you can follow, and they also have the written instructions for each row. So this one is just a valance length, and what I'm doing in mine is I'm extending, let's see, so how did I do it? I am working this section, and then to extend it, I'm doing a whole bunch of the section here and bringing it down farther, and then I'm repeating from here down. So I'm going to have a set of these diamonds at the very top like it shows up there, and then at the bottom it's also going to look like that, where I have the diamond and then the big diamond on the bottom, and then a larger gap of just the like mesh look. So that is what I'm working on right now. I only have a few rows, so I have talked to you guys about my Monday or in my other Monday episodes that in the mornings I sit out with the dogs outside. I sit out on my back porch and I've been knitting socks, and that has been a lot of fun, but I have paused that so I can work on this. So that is what the curtain is looking like right now. I only have a tiny bit. I know it's going to take a very long time for me to get this done, so I'm looking at it as a very long-term project. I'm not rushing. But you can see that, like I was talking, so this is the section that you put the rod through up here at the top. And then you've got that first diamond, and then I have a long section here, and then I have that first diamond and then the bottom diamond. So if that makes more sense. And then, so you are working it vertically across. So you're working, obviously you work back and forth like this, but you are working so it grows vertically like that across the window. So this is the bottom point, and this is the part that hangs on the rod at the top. So that's that one. So the yarn that they said, this durable yarn is a thicker weight yarn than what I'm using. I'm using the Red Heart Classic crochet thread. Sorry, my label is all gross because they put a sticker over it. I ordered it online, and they put a weird sticker over it. But that's the 10 size. This one says that you should use a 0.15 millimeter hook, and the pattern says that you should use a 2.5 millimeter. So you know that yarn that they want you to use is thicker than this thread. So I'm actually going in the middle, and I'm just using a 2 millimeter because I didn't want it to be like that microscopic crochet with the 1.5. So I'm using a 2 millimeter. I tried it with a 2.5 and it was too airy. It didn't, the thread looked messy with the 2.5. So I just went down to a 2 millimeter hook. It is super tiny. And that's working out really well. So I'm having a lot of fun with that one. It's a slow process. Like, I really like to crochet fast because I can crochet pretty quickly. But then with this one, you really have to slow down because your stitches will get really messy with that thickness of thread and the tiny crochet hook, and having a short amount of time to work on it so your hand doesn't cramp up. And I also find that the ergonomic hooks are very helpful with being able to crochet with these tiny hooks. I do like to use the ergonomic hooks or a hook that has a handle on it for everything that I use. I used to use use all the hooks that had no handles on it, and then when I switched to these, I was like, oh, my hand doesn't cramp anymore. So I have switched fully to something with a handle on it. This is like the off-brand of the like the clover hooks. It's like the off-brand. I think this was maybe the one that I got at Walmart, the pack that I got at Walmart. I also get stuff from Temu. They have like a nice pack that has like a huge variety, and it's like $3 for a pack of hooks. Also, Hobby Lobby has some really great bamboo handled hooks like this. These are probably my favorite because I like that the thumb rest is still available. I like that part, but this is nice and thick that my pinky is not like crunched around it. Since it has the handle, it's not, my hand doesn't cramp up as much. I've also had, you know, the bandage wrap tape type thing that you can get that for like your knees, wrapping knees or ankles or something like that. It's like the skin colored wrap stuff that's sticky. I've also used that on some of my hooks that don't have handles, and I've wrapped that around to give that same feel. And it's not as smooth in your hand since it's like it's the bandage stuff. It's got like texture to it, so it's not as smooth. But if you absolutely need it, and you don't have access to anything that has a handle, then that is very helpful. And they also have things that you can buy. I think Walmart has them and Amazon also has them. You can get a pack of like foam handles that you just slide onto your hooks that are just the metal. So if that helps at all. Anyway, that is all that I had. I did make up a whole bunch of little packs. These little tins, these are, my dog likes to open boxes and he got a hold of that one. But anyway, so I put some nice fall stickers on the front and the back, and I put them on the inside. But this has like the essentials. So got my nice fall stickers. But the essentials, I've got scissors, the measuring tape. They're so fun. The retractable ones. And the stitch markers. I used my stitch markers that I got for my knitting stuff, the little light bulb stitch markers. They're really cute. It's like a safety pin, but it's all rounded out on the bottom instead of twisted, so it's very helpful to have. So I'm using these for the thread because the thread is so easily it can stretch so much. If I were to use my plastic ones, it would stretch the spaces out and the stitches out too much. So I wanted to use something like that. That was tiny. And then I also have my needle for sewing in ends. But this is like my little to-go kit. I made several of these. I'm going to make a short, I think, of me packing them up, putting the stickers on it. I think I'll make a short of that. I did film it, but I don't know if it's greatest quality. And these, if you haven't seen these, you can pull these sides out and it is a little pair of scissors. So it's like nice little travel scissors. You can pack them up and it just goes really nicely. So anyway, I think I'm pretty sure I got all this stuff on Amazon. I shop on there too often. But yeah, a nice little kit. So I made a few of those and I just have those in my whips, my different projects, so that I have a easy access to all those things that I need whenever I need them. I have one last thing to share with you. This is not crochet, but it is crafty, so I figured maybe I could share it with you guys and you might want to see this part as well. And when I was a kid, I was into all crafty things. I did some scrapbooking. I never got into embroidery. I want to try and do embroidery because I think it's just so pretty. And I want to be able to put it on like different clothing and stuff like that. I mean, a little like embroidered flower or something on a shirt would just be so cute. So I want to learn that. If you have any fun content creators or any channels that you really like embroidery from, if you have anything that you suggest, I'd love to see what it is that you guys have. If you want to leave a comment with the artist that you like to use on YouTube, or any resources that you have as far as embroidery that you suggest, I'd love to explore that too. So if you have anything that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear that. So anyway, and I just started doing knitting, and I learned how to knit socks from a video that someone suggested on one of my yarn videos. So I was so excited to learn that. So, suggest the embroidery. I'd like to conquer that one. So what I am making today with this is I have a really pretty cross stitch. So I used to cross stitch a ton when I was a kid. This one is a counted cross stitch. There are a few different kinds. So there's some that are counted, like this one, and then there's others that are printed. So they actually have the design printed on a piece of fabric, and you just follow that with your stitches. I prefer this one just because I don't like the printed part on the back that I have to cover everything. It's also on a fabric instead of a cross stitch fabric, which I'll show you in a second. If you've never done these before, if you have, you know what I'm talking about. But this, you can see this fabric has those little, it's woven, and you can see the little holes and little squares. And you, with a counted cross stitch, you count those different squares and you do your cross stitch in there, and it relies on you counting properly. And can't tell you how many times I've had to tear things out and redo them, and that still wasn't the right count, so I had to undo it and redo it again. I did order some seam rippers so that my mistakes will be easier to fix. Ay. All right, so anyway, this is I haven't been using a hoop. What I've been doing is just holding on to it. You can see that I scrunch this side as I work, but I am not a professional cross stitcher. I do it for fun, and I do it in whatever way is easier. And I know you're supposed to go down, and underneath you go up and do that. But what I'm doing is I'm staying fully on top. This is how I do it. I hold it like this. I know it's very caveman-like. Hold it like this, and I am going into one hole and out the other and doing my stitches that way. I am doing all of my stitches in the right order, so I'm doing one cross this way and then one cross this way, and I'm doing that for every single stitch, making sure that all of them are in a row, because I've done that chaotically before where the top stitch is whatever direction I land. I don't like it as much. The only thing is I did one little spot that was not like that, and I cannot find it, so I think that's a good thing. There's one little spot, I think I did 2 little rows that were not. But anyway, so this one, it's so cute. It's a little schoolhouse, and it is supposed to say on there, blessed is the life that finds joy in the journey. And then it has like a beehive and little bees. So what I'm doing is I am removing this beehive, and I'm going to continue the flowers across here so that it's just a row of flowers. And I'm taking out the bees. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a Bible verse or something in here instead. I'm not sure what it is that I want to say exactly. I think most likely it will be Jesus is King. I'll put up here, and then maybe add like a Bible reference or something on the bottom. I'm not entirely sure. But anyhow, that is you can get this on Amazon. This is where I got this one. And I think it's like between 15 and 20 bucks. And you get the whole kit. You get the chart that comes with it. So you can see that. And then you get all the embroidery thread with the numbers and such on it. It's a mess. Don't mind that. So yeah, so you get all of that in the kit. It has been super fun. And if you have seen my videos before, you see this frame up here that still has the frame or the picture that it came with. This is going up there. This has been my plan this whole time. That's going to go right there. So you can look at that instead of that size picture and whatever that is. Anyway, all right, so that is all that I had to share with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I have such a wonderful time sitting and chatting with you guys, and I appreciate you so much. If you have not already subscribed, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. It is free to do that. And also, if you'd like notifications, you can hit that little bell and you will get a notification when I post my next videos. I do several different things throughout the week. I have my Monday chat episodes, and then I have my Wip Wednesday episode that I am working on a blanket made with thrifted yarn, and we do like surprise picks every week. This is what we've got going so far. So if you want to tune in for our Wednesday, our Wip Wednesday episode, you can do that on Wednesdays. On Fridays, I try to do something that's a little fun, just random, strange, fun stuff. It's never really the same. And I also will post my patterns on Fridays as well. So I try to do that once or twice a month. I post some type of pattern tutorial for you guys to check out if you would like to. Last Friday was was my Frogger finish, and then the week before that, I believe I had my autumn fringe blanket. So if you would like to check those out, you can. I also have all of my tutorials linked in the description if you would like to look at those. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.